so sorry. I killed you.
All right, so, yep, this is Cedric Kennedy. Welcome. Another installment, Comparative Reasoning. All right, out the way. So, this was on my mind. I was doing some thinking, and it just jumped in there. And I want to point something out. And you're probably wondering, what the title, The Evidence of Racism is the Unity? In multiple fashions, yes. Yes, it is. See, and this is going to be, I'm going to link it to a conspiracy theory here. One that people probably not have thought of. And the conspiracy theory is, well, the guy involved in it is dead. Long dead. So, the evidence of racism is unity. I want you to think about something. Humans, just like any other animal, we break off into tribes. Lions have their pride/tribe. Lionesses will have their own tribe and whatnot, and so will the zebra and the antelope and all this other stuff. They'll do that. Squirrels, raccoons, don't matter. Snakes, they do it. Alligators, crocodiles, some solitary, some got to be in a group. So, think about this. In the beginning was 2019, and that is the summer. Everyone was in their comfort zone. Even those being marginalized and abused was in their comfort zone. They got it. They understood where they were, where they belong. Keep your head low. Don't make eye contact. Try to look as innocuous as, try to look as harmless as you can in front of the police so you don't get your head knocked off. All right. The problem is the police are trained to think that if you are black, brown, or yellow, light brown, whichever, you are already guilty. They just got to find it. That's it. So if you are white, especially if you're well-to-do, meaning middle class, you don't have to think about these things. Literally, you don't have to think about these things. So while your tribe will shout down any little inconvenience and start hollering about your rights and your freedom and your all that stuff, the minorities, they shout, stop hurting us, stop killing us. And they shouted all of the apathetic and the racist to wake up and stop helping this genocide, this slow but assured genocide. So COVID-19 comes in and everyone has to part ways. They do. So everyone has to go into their little caves, their domiciles, their dwellings, their homes, their houses, whichever you want to call it. Their cardboard boxes, their shelters, their friend's place. It's time to lock up, lock down, and try to curb this. That immediately broke up into tribes. You had the tribe of the racist that says, I believe our dear leader, the public service guy that is in the executive office, that is the president, he is public servant. But he's the leader of the grog tribe. The knuckle dragging, mouth breathing, club a woman over the head to get her affection tribe. That's what he's the leader of. And that tribe was, we're going to go out, we're going to do what we want to do because we have the freedom. We kept the freedom. That's our freedom. It's constitutional to go out and do whatever you want to do. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm white. I can do whatever I want to do because Trump. I can do whatever I want to do because I'm not black. That's basically what it was. And you got black people that was pretty much doing the same thing because black people get so tired of being beaten down, they just want to do something and feel a bit free to do something. And some just don't take it serious because some are Trump supporters. So black people have their own tribe. They go outside, but you got the black people and the white people that are of the other tribe of, I'm going to stay in. I'm going to do this, this self-quarantine. I'm going to do what I got to do to help my family and myself live. That is where that tribe was. And that tribe even had a subset that it was like, okay, if I go out with a mask on and I got gloves or these hand sanitizer or something, some kind of disinfectant, then I'll be all right. So you've got your 3 tribes. I hope y'all followed that. You've got your 3 tribes. Okay, you've got your racists that stay in and the racists that go out, but even the ones that stay in will go out at points. You've got those that want to live and they don't want to get anyone else infected, so they stay in. And then you got those that go out with the masks on and they hope that they do well enough. Okay, you got your tribes. And I group the racists that stay in and the racists that go out as one. Because the ones that stay in that are racist but not going out are the very same people saying go out. Trump is one of them. So, you've got those, and because of that, found that even with all of this, COVID-19, see, the well-to-do, even the poor whites got enough to stay inside and weather the storm. They can order, they can get money coming in, they're still fine. For the most part, you know, their finances were draining. It was happening. Nonetheless, because they weren't getting any help from the government, and that's Democrat and Republican. They were getting help from neither. So, the black people, they had to go out. Go to work or you're fired. A beautiful, shining example of that was Sunny Secular Gen Xer. She chose to live than to please her damn higher up. That's courage. That's power. That is power, everybody. You want to live by an example? Live by that. Choose your life over the wants of somebody else's fortune. That's what you do. That's what you do. Now, if you had a Patreon, I'd be telling you to go there right now and help a sister out. I would. But instead, she's got a blog. So I'm going to put her website in the description. So there we go. That's the best I can do. Now, you've got those tribes. You got all this crap going on. And then because of this, you know, black people, they were just marginalized. Not only were the ones not wearing masks beat the shit out of by cops, thrown down, pushed down, knocked unconscious, bloody eyes, broken noses, broken ribs. They can't go to the hospital because the hospital ain't taking them. But the white people they came across, oh, the cops helped them. They did. Benjamin Dixon been hollering about this for a few weeks. All right. It's good to listen to his show because he's finally coming on board. I don't know if he's listening to me or not, but he's finally coming on board. He's catching up to where I've been for the past 3 months. He's catching up a lot faster than the others, and I mean a whole lot faster. Because where I am now, Benjamin Dixon will be in about 2 to 3 weeks, and the others won't get there until next year. Okay, maybe November. No, they'll be too busy talking about politics. So, black people got annihilated for not wearing masks. White people got offered masks. Just think about that. But that wasn't enough. That was out of your eye. That was out of everyone's eye. Out of sight, out of mind, don't matter. Okay. And then, it's bad enough that's happening. It's bad enough that all these black people got killed. In Obama's first 3 years, roughly 3,000 black people were killed by cops and about 2 or 3 vigilantes. You know, that's what's been going on. You know, this is new to you, but it's been like this for years. So, George Floyd, and I said it many a times, it's going to be that one black person you kill, and it's going to be that one black person too many. So it happened. Here we are. And George Floyd won't necessarily the thing. It won't. The thing is, it was already a powder keg boiling. All right? Because, you know, you just can't jog anymore without vigilantes gunning you down. And you can't just be a friend of a cop that's worked with them for 17 years before that cop ultimately killed you. Find out George Floyd's mother had been dead 3 years, but yet he was down there dying and calling for her to help. So knowing this stuff, yeah, it's going to get to you. And then some girl that got a bike and the cop decided, I'm going to jack you up on this bike. Because there was a small protest. Yes, but when the cop jacked that girl up, people said that is it. And here we are. The evidence of racism is the unity. Here we go. White people who are not racist, or maybe were racist, but realized, what in the hell? They said, no, we see it. We understand. And we side with you. At first they didn't, because they would listen to the news and it was wrong. Then they listened to some social media. They saw stuff on Twitter. They saw what the police were doing. They saw what this was about. And they said, no, we're going to come out and we are going to do this. And we're going to help. It took a bit. It took a few days. But white people joined the black people. Masked and unmasked. Joining forces during a deadly pandemic. A pandemic that in truth has not killed as many people thus far in the past 10 years than the cops have. So, during this deadly outbreak, you got masked and unmasked people coming out, joining forces to protest and break down this system that already broke itself down. Because the system has hurt all of you, all of us, and then blame us when we act out. Yeah, think about that. That's the unity. The evidence of racism is the unity. Because if the police and our politicians, and I'm serious, every single Republican, every single Democrat, every single one of them, they are the reason why this is happening. They are. You can listen to my last video. They are the reason. And if you got any objections, please put it down there and I will read it. You know I will. So, history always repeats itself. And that's usually what I use to judge the future. You know? So has this happened before? Yes, it did. This ain't the Black Panthers I'm talking about. Oh no, this is the Civil Rights Movement. No, it wasn't really called the Black Civil Rights Movement. It was just called the Civil Rights Movement. Everyone should have civil rights. Everyone should have equality. That's a given. You just wake up and have it. This shouldn't be legislation. It shouldn't take an act of Congress. It shouldn't take a riot, a protest. It shouldn't even take anyone mentioning it. It should just be an automatic given. So, since it was not given to everyone equally, black people decided to stand up. It was a long time that this movement was going. And then Selma happened. We're going to peacefully protest. And this is going to be in the jurisdiction of one of the most brutal, racist cops in the United States, in the Union. And kind of ironic that it's called a union. So, what happened? They marched that bridge. They was told no. And it's like, we're just walking through. And for once, for the first time, it was televised. And no one really gave a shit. The white people didn't care. They're well-to-do. They're in their homes. Whether they're poor or middle class or upper class. They're in their homes. They're watching the TV, the tellies. And not listening to a record player, might I add. They're watching TV. They're seeing this protest. They're seeing it. And they're like, so what? Black people walking across the bridge. Who cares? Let them by. Most of them wanted to turn the channel, but they couldn't help but wonder what's going to happen with these two lines drawn. The drama of it all. And what happened? Those police proceeded to beat the shit out of those black and some, very few, maybe a sprinkle of white people. They beat the shit out of them. And the protesters, the marchers, did not fight back. Some tried, and black people stopped them from fighting back. And the cops did not just beat the one that was going to fight back, but beat the one that saved the cop. And they got to see this. These well-to-do white people got to see this, and that was the turning of the tide. They said, hell no. These people are doing nothing, peacefully protesting, and you're doing this? And now Lyndon B. Johnson had to do something, because he couldn't help but to tell Martin Luther King that white people ain't ready. You know what? Nobody for any situation will ever be ready. Nobody. Because it's different. It's new. And nobody is ready for anything new. So, there was pushback. And what happened after that pushback? Change. Civil rights. And Martin Luther King, it was like, okay, this black guy finally got what he wanted. Maybe he'll shut the fuck up. Martin Luther King was like, no. You think this was just about black people? This is about all people. As the slogan and the saying and the quote goes, if not one of us is free, if one of us is still enslaved, then none of us are free. That's just simple. Equality. Pure equality. So, he wanted to take on multinational corporations. He wanted to take on, financial equality, getting money out of politics and whatnot. But then he died. Now, here's the conspiracy. Everyone thinks that he died because he was starting to get, pushing for getting money out of politics. No. I don't think so. I'm sure that was part of it. But, that wasn't it. Oh, no. See, by then, Martin Luther King Jr. had been proven a viable leader. Selma and getting civil rights, he wasn't the only one. No one to give credit to every other black person and white person out there that pushed for this. They only care about Martin Luther King because of his speeches. And I have a dream. That's all they care about. They don't care about nobody else. Who has the most quotes are the ones you remember the most in history. But Martin Luther King Jr., he had power. That's something white people don't want black people to have. Power. He had a voice. He had a say. He, with his words, could push people in any direction. That's what he had. He alone had the power of the media propaganda. He alone had it. They could say it on TV, but all people wanted to do was go into the street and see what he was going to say. Spread it around, pass it around, and that became the way. That's how that was. So when you got somebody with that much power, that much influence, galvanizing black, white, poor, well-to-do, rich people, what's the worst thing that could happen back then? That black man run for president. And the thought of that would push any racist regime to the breaking point. And that person got to go. That's my thought. But what Dr. Martin Luther King did on that bridge with them, he got beat with them. Others were beaten and some was killed. Some died later of certain injuries that never got fixed right. Some lost their sight. But what that did, that was the evidence of racism providing the unity. That was unity. And we're seeing it again. No, there is no one leader for this. There are voices. And there are people that's trying to keep stuff afloat, trying to keep the focus. But while all these liberals and all of these conservatives, these Republicans, These Democrats are trying to find or force or create that one voice, because they know if they can get everyone behind that one voice and they kill that voice, they know they'll kill the movement. They'll kill the protest. They think YouTube is the voice, so YouTube is stopping it. They're demonetizing anyone that talks about the protest. That's what they're doing. Because if no one is going to make money talking about the protest, then they're not going to talk about the protest. They know a lot of people value money and material over people and justice. They know that. That is our current regime. Capitalism. Runaway capitalism. My final point in this, to point out this thing of unity and what they're trying to do to kill it. Bernie Sanders was galvanizing. Bernie Sanders had the young people on his side, but not the young vote. He had the ear of the older people, but the older people hated the young people. They stopped Bernie Sanders. So therefore they killed the progressive movement. And it wasn't even really progressive. It was just the reverse of what we got today. And they could not risk something like that. Because if they went out and killed this Jewish man, elderly Jewish man, imagine how that would have looked. Just imagine what would have happened. They couldn't. They couldn't. So everyone out there, white, black, brown, any shade, any financial background, you know what's going on. You know why it's going on. For those that truly get it, you keep up the fight. You stay focused. Put those fists in the air forward and let them know you're not backing down until you turn this regime around. Cedric Kennedy, Comparative Reasoning. Please share. Thank you for listening.